Thanks for joining me. I'm Scotty D, and this is Dingville, Tennessee. It's a series where I work on dings and chips on guitars, electric and acoustic. Sometimes we work on the color, and sometimes we work on just the clear finish. But this one in particular is a 2017 Gibson J45 Standard. Has these scratches from the pick that we need to disguise, and this is the nice stained mahogany back and sides, neck, and sunburst top. We're not going to be setting it up or playing it today. We don't have the pins, the saddle, the strings, none of that. We'll just be working on the finish. But we will give a listen to a 1960 J45 that's in-house today. It's gonna be a real treat. Stick around. This raw wood that we need to touch up is rather deep, so I need to put a sealer over it first before I use the stain. If you put stain right on raw wood, it's going to be tough if you get it wrong. So what I need to do is seal this up real good so that whatever color I do put over top of the sealer, I'm able to wipe it off and do it over if I need to. So Glue Boost Fill and Finish Ultra Thin will be the right sealer for this. I like to get the fart fan running. Take a little paper towel, a little bit of the accelerator, and I'll go wipe it on the project. I'll take a little bit of the ultra thin and put it in this cup right here. Oh, this one hasn't been opened yet. Let me get the open one. And actually, sometimes we can get the this area right here looks like crushed lacquer. It can appear lighter than it actually is. So what I can do is take a little lacquer retarder on a paintbrush and just brush it over there. It'll re-amalgamate the crushed stuff and almost make it look good again. It'll probably work on that area there. Yeah. A little bit around the edges there. So, we'll let that dry for a little while, come back and start working on the color. Okay, I like these little lip brushes, little foam brush. We'll get it on there. See, it makes it, if we would have put the color right on that, we would have probably been way too dark. So the fill and finish, we're already closer to being in the ballpark just by adding that CA glue. Be able to keep this from accelerating and hardening by covering it up. I'm gonna shorten the handle so gravity doesn't tip it over, and then just poke a hole in a piece of something here and cover it up. Okay, this is the fill and finish clear. The first foam brush started disintegrating, so this is a new one. I think I'll do a couple applications of this. I'm going to smooth it over a little bit with this 400 grit sandpaper. A big lump right there. I'm going to try some 220. 400's not doing nothing. Just some naphtha to clean up the dust. A little more of that ultra thin. See if we can get it real level. Accelerator. Still got some low spots. More naphtha. I can probably control the color the best with the Zinsser shellac. Plus it'll be real easy to clean off of there if the color's wrong. I'm going to guess medium brown. And I'm going to just put a drop over here on the edge of the cup. Some of it's going to drip down in there and some of it's going to stay on the edge. I'd like to clean the tip or the nozzle immediately with a little bit of denatured alcohol so it doesn't clog, so the nozzle doesn't clog up. Just clean the nozzle like that. Alright, I'll get a small brush and start painting it on, see what happens. Well, one other thing I like to use is this colloidal silica. It's kind of a diffuser. It kind of tricks the eye into, well, I guess it doesn't trick the eye, but it makes the color look like the same from different vantage points. And I'm going to take the excess moisture off the brush, and then I'll move it over to the project over here. Can you believe that? 2 tiny dips into that shellac with color. That might just be enough to do it. We'll get some clear finish on there and wow. Okay. Let's let it dry for about 15 minutes. If you're wondering what colloidal silica is, it's a filler that you buy with the West Systems epoxy. So you can thicken your epoxy with it. But it's very fluffy. Up there I keep all the Glue Boost products, a couple heat lamp bulbs. What else? The medium brown was a color tone liquid dye or stain. You can buy those on stuartmcdonald.com. StuMac sells the shellac too. This one can's lasted me 6 years and it's still half full. 3 teeny little sprays and a quarter of a drop of that stain may have been enough to do this job. There's a real thin wiping of the Glue Boost. Accelerator. I'm just trying to level things out. All that fill and finish coat with 400 grit. And I'm just going to switch here in a second to 600 grit. Just want to let you guys know it was a bad idea to go at it with aggressive dry sanding over top of the color. I started sanding through and I had to do a little touch-up. So the touch-up's dry. It was just like 2 small spots I started sanding right through. Instead of glue boosting over it, which leaves a real bumpy surface, although it's very quick, I want to get a more smooth surface, so I'm going to use poly. I could even wipe it with lacquer, but I'm going to wipe a poly layer on here as a barrier coat. Even if I decide to do lacquer, the poly will keep the lacquer from dissolving the shellac. So maybe the poly will be a good enough look for this job. Let's give it a try. The wipe on poly by itself is really thin, so I'm gonna... It's like water almost, or milk. I'm gonna use some of the regular poly and mix them kind of half and half. All right. Alright, I'm going to brush it on. Just got this brand new pack of brushes yesterday in the mail. Amazon. Chinese brushes. They look very nice. Hopefully it goes on no bubbles. Probably don't want to stir this very vigorously because you could get a whole bunch of bubbles in it. But I'm going to lay it on kind of thick and hope that it self-levels. Little sandpaper scratches on the pick guard. Just use the center seam as my stopping point. Then I got some of this plastic polish. I use the pad marked X. Don't want to confuse it with the non-plastic polish. Just a little bit. Just make his pickguard look shiny. Like I didn't mess it up. Whew! That's shiny. You can see just how bumpy it is still from this angle. It's very bumpy. With the Scotch Bright Gray and do another coat. Okay, well, I accidentally sanded through twice and had to touch up that color for a third time. Finally, I'm happy with it. Now, I didn't end up sanding it afterwards. I ended up putting some fill and finish over the top, just kind of blotting it on and then hitting it with some 3M and stuff to get the right sheen. And since we can't listen to it because I don't have the parts, I've got a real treat for you today. I also have a J45 here from 1960. It's a J45 ADJ bridge. That's when they put that porcelain insert there down in there so you could raise it up and down, get your action dialed in. And I just fixed the bridge plate so it's sounding really good. Also, I was always told in the 50s they had this big pick guard. This is the normal pick guard. But according to the Gruen book, this is a 1960. The serial, well, it doesn't have a serial number. It has a FON, factory order number of R6769 or 65. The Gruen book shows that in the year of 1960, the numbers begin with the letter R. But in 1959, it would have been the letter S, as in Sam. Interesting enough. They started with a Z in like 1940 and then worked their way back through the alphabet with these FONs. Well, now that this one's done, and I'm going to wrap up the video by playing this so you guys can hear it. It's going to be a real treat. Lola came to visit. Lola? Well, since Lola was just here, listen to the bottom end on this guitar. I met her in a club down in El Soho, where we drink champagne and it tastes just like Coca-Cola. C-O-L-A Cola.
Was it really true that with elephants, lions to Piccadilly Circus? Thanks for hanging around and watching today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Dingville. We'll catch you later.